Meet on Mondays, episode 9. I'm Christina.
And I'm Joe. And today we're going to talk about overthinking and what that means in dance and creating.
Yeah, and so the actual definition of overthinking is when you're thinking about something too much and for too long.
What that looks and feels like in terms of the dance and creative world is obsessing about feedback. It's spending forever long in front of the closet or the wardrobe trying to pick out an outfit for an audition because everything's going to be wrong. It's re-choreographing something again and again. It's giving too much weight to other people's feedback. It's making up stories about what you couldn't possibly know. It's
Comparing. Having to re-choreograph things if you're choreographing.
Absolutely.
Second guessing what you're doing.
The second guessing thing. It's trying really hard to get it right rather than just get it. And the tricky thing about when you love something in the way that we love dance, or you love whatever it is that you're passionate about, is we think about it a lot. A lot. We spend lots of time and energy on it. It's your focus. And focus is fine. The thing about focus is that it's light and it's open and it's driven, but it leaves room for your enthusiasm.
Yes, your joy, your creativity,
Absolutely.
Your expression of who you naturally are.
Yes,
of what your gifts
passion,
are.
Your passion. And because it leaves room for all of those things, it also allows you to let go and learn from anything that doesn't work. It's an empowering thing. The thing about overthinking is that it's isolating, it's focused on getting stuck. It's actually less about taking action, and it's more about trying to control the outcome, or
Just imagine, keep imagining, giving all these scenarios that what you think might happen.
Projecting
right?
all those
right.
scenarios.
And you just keep crunching it in and tighter.
Absolutely.
So you leave yourself no space to breathe or to have life in
it's
what
an isolating thing. It's that stuck feeling. It's ultimately a disempowering thing.
So we want to give you a couple of examples of how this can play out. So let's talk about how this can really affect your life, your dance life and your life, and how it can really smash you sometimes.
It'll stop you. It'll stop you dead in your tracks from moving forward if you let it. So some examples. See if you can find yourself in any of these.
Yeah.
You know,
getting stuck in throwaway comments. Even if, let's say, a teacher gives you some feedback, you might create a whole story around it and take it the wrong way. So my example would be when I was on scholarship, I was nearing the end of my year of training, and a teacher that I really respected and admired said to me, "Christina, you have this fitness body. You're just like physical fitness." And what I heard from that was, "God, you can't dance. You obviously have no technique. You're not ready to work. You're just fit."
Thank you, brain. Thank you, mind, for filling in the blanks.
Thanks for just... I obviously took it whatever way I was going to take it, which was not what they meant at all. So it was creating this whole thing in my head, and I could have seen an opportunity, like I said, to ask her these questions, and could you expand on that? Or I could have said, "Oh, she thinks I'm really fit. That's awesome. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I love it, and it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks, but I'm going to take that feedback. Thanks."
You could have just let it be the comment.
But that's not exactly what I did. For a period of time, I thought, we went over that story, what I thought and how it affected me for a little bit.
I had the same. I mean, in a super short version, I had the same thing. I was told when I was about 14, a guest teacher they had said something about my turnout. It's turned into a concrete memory for me, but I'm pretty sure that I've turned it into more than it really was. And I let it turn into, I have really bad turnout. I let that become a fact. And it took me years until I was about 10 years later taking a random open ballet class, and someone said, "Oh, I like that. Your turnout looks great." And I said, "No.
And there you have it.
Wait, I have really bad turnout."
No, it's not.
Wait, I argued my case. I argued the case of what years of overthinking had turned that one small comment into. Overthinking can also turn into procrastinating.
Oh, yes.
If you project too much from one little bit of information that you've gotten and you overthink it that much, it can stop you. It turns into a paralysis, looking stuck, because you've created all the scenarios around it. You're almost creating all these limiting beliefs for yourself. You're fighting for your limits, and it stops you from even taking one step forward. So the thing about overthinking, the problem with it is it actually comes down to, they're not facts, they're your thoughts. And perfectionists live here. But the problem with perfectionism is that everything has to be absolutely perfect, and often it stops you from putting anything out there at all.
Trying at all.
Unless you know you can guarantee
fear.
you can guarantee the outcome, which is
guess
paralyzing
what?
fear.
You can never guarantee the outcome.
And the problem when you've backed yourself into that kind of corner is, of course, then your enthusiasm goes missing. It runs away screaming. So does your creativity, because creativity is not born of a place where it's got to be absolutely right, and it can only come out in one perfect form with a guaranteed outcome, reception. And by reception, I mean approval from other people. If we let that stop us from attempting anything, then it'll be really easy just to stay stuck exactly where you are, which is not going to get you where you want to go. So if you get a hit on a feeling about doing something, or about turning up to a class, or trust that feeling that we get. Feeling is a place that we know as dancers. We know when it feels good. So trust when you get that feeling to do something, go with it.
Go get it. Go do it. And then another thing that happens is you thinking about what other people are going to think about what you're thinking. Too many thinkings. Does that make sense?
Too many thinkings in that sentence. Never mind in that process.
That's a lot of thinkings.
It is. As much as you might try and foresee what somebody else is going to say, there's nothing you can do to control anybody else's opinion. So the most wonderful thing about that is that what you can do is show up as the best version of yourself and let go of the rest, because somebody else is going to think what they're going to think anyway. So your job lies with showing up and being the best version of you.
So, what are some things you can do when this starts to happen in your mind? And by the way, we'd love to hear just a comment, on any of the Facebook reposts or the Instagram, or if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We just love to hear what your experience is with this and how you deal with it, because the way you deal with it might help someone else as well.
Okay.
So first, breathe. Just breathe. What I like to do is look at the dogs and just see the joy and love they bring in my life. Is just, if you have an animal, you know what I'm saying. Another thing that I really respond to is turning on a song, like playing a song for myself that I love and I know inspires me.
I often thank my mind for its views. A friend of mine, Samantha Nolan Smith, actually taught me this ages ago. I say it sometimes out loud. Thank you for your views. As I'm going through, thank you, mind. Thank you for your views, but I got stuff to do here, so
no time for you now.
I'm gonna keep going anyway. That's right. Remember that you love it. Know that you're not alone, like we said before. Connect with somebody that brings you back out of your mind and just into the present moment, back into that place of feeling good, because that's where the best creative stuff comes from. Anyway, the best version of you shows up when you get a little bit out of your head and just into your body, and when you're in that present moment. And the biggest thing I would say is go with focus over overthinking. Go with that lightness, the openness, but it's the drive, but it allows for the enthusiasm and to learn from the mistakes that you've made. And focus by the way that it feels. And that's something that we speak.
That first indication of, I'm going to do this, or, I got an idea, or go with that.
It's that lightness. And we know how that feels because we're dancers, and we know how it feels when it's really good. Or if you're a singer, you know what it feels like to hit that note, or an actor when you really feel like you come out of a scene and there was a lightness to it. There was an ease.
Such an ease.
So focus, we know how that feels. So look for the feeling. That's usually a glaringly obvious sign, because overthinking feels a little like this. Mm-hmm. And then when you do that and you've gone with that feeling, you kind of let your superpowers come back, but maybe it's even just you actually just step back into your power. To you mm-hmm. and to your power, which is where it's at, my friends.
Thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye. Bye.